Hi, everyone.
Hi,
Banshee here, and
Oberon.
this is a special presentation of Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with
Oberon.
Me, Banshee. And we are here today because we are doing a follow up to our coronavirus readings. This one is going to be specifically dealing with issues in the United States and how we are moving forward through this pandemic.
So we prepared one basic question, but we wanted it to address a multitude or a number of multiple areas of interest for United States concerns.
Right. So basically, what I also want to say too at this point is number one, we are just tarot readers. This is for entertainment purposes only. If you need information and facts about the coronavirus, contact the Center for Disease Control in the US, or if you're watching from somewhere else in the world, your national health authorities for information. We are here to just do projections and predictions via the tarot for fun and entertainment purposes only.
It's a guideline to give you something to think about, ways to express yourself or express concerns you may have.
Well, and the other thing is that also these cards might give you some things to think about as far as planning for the next phase goes. It may just open your mind to thinking about the coronavirus in different ways. So, we also want to make the point before we get started here that, you know what? This pandemic, we are operating with this reading under the principle by looking at what experts have said that the pandemic is not going to go away. It's going to be with us for a long time. But of course, if we get a vaccine and other things can mitigate the progress, that may happen. So we're trying to look at what life looks like now that we have the coronavirus as part of it.
All right.
And the basic question and the first part of our question is going to be, well, this is the main question. What long-term changes effects will going through this pandemic experience have on life in the USA? And so we're going to examine different sectors of our lives here in the USA. And the first one is education. How will the pandemic affect education?
So is that the reversed?
Uh-huh. The Five of Wands reversed. This is very interesting to me, Mr. O, because it looks to me as far as education is concerned, there are going to be, and it was reversed, there are going to be a lot of cooperative efforts that are going to be going on, to try to make education happen for all segments of society so that everybody is entitled to a good education in this new environment. And I sense it's going to take a lot of different segments of society working together to make this happen.
Well, I think that the Five of Wands reversed looks like a hot mess.
Oh, I don't.
Okay, well,
I think it's a hot mess if it were upright.
Oh, I always thought it was the other way around to me.
Nope, not to me.
Okay, I'll go with that then. It just seems like it's very exuberant, that's for sure.
Well, there's a lot of energy absolutely being expended here.
Okay.
So we're going to shuffle again.
And the TFT Tarot for Today mascot.
Sunny is here to brighten our day as we talk about a very difficult topic. So that was education. So what kind of changes, long-term changes, can we expect in employment and the workplace in the USA? I'm going to snuggle with the mascot cat. So what does it look like in the workplace? And it's the Fool upright. Wow. Well, you know what that means to me is that,
A reinvention.
yeah, It's totally like a new adventure, a reinvention of the wheel in a way. It's a real well, I don't know if I'd call it a reset. It's a new adventure.
It's a jumping off point.
Yeah.
It's sort of like it's the same old thing, but this is where you get in. Come on, loser, we're going
Well, I
over
wouldn't put
the
it
cliff.
that way.
There's
But
always
there
a
are
danger
risks.
of pratfalls, and best to follow your animal instinct. Follow your inner instinct because it will serve you better than just following anything else.
So to me, it looks like, things are going to head to reopening, and obviously things are now, but it's not just a matter of reopening. I think we're going to come to a point where we realize that things are going to be different and it's a new starting point. It's a new adventure. And so even though it looks like right now things are opening fairly, people are trying to get back to a sense of what they know and what was normal, this seems to take it out of the realm of that, wouldn't you say?
Right, absolutely. I mean, we're thinking this is really big here. People are very cynical these days about how things are going to go. But you know what? It was 100 years ago, a little less, when things were really bad too, as we moved into the Great Depression. And people had to rethink things entirely differently. And we got new systems and new things. And now it's 100 years later, and maybe we have to do that again. Maybe we have to really do what we can to make this country work for everybody again.
Well, that was very interesting. I had to move the reading, he was on top of it. We are moving now into the economy, economic issues, and what that's going to look like. He is not going to let me shuffle. Can you?
I'll shuffle
Yeah,
first.
why don't you shuffle first this time? That's a good deal. Okay. Yeah, I'll find a way to move him. There you go. There's my sonny boy. All right, this time I'll cut them. You can pick them up. The economy, and what can we expect? Business as usual? Oh, it's the Five of Cups upright.
So it's mismatched a little bit, or it's a little bit of everything. There's going to be pain. There's going to be pleasure. Some people are going to say it's the best of times. Some people are going to say it's the worst of times. The glass is half empty. The glass is half full.
In other words, some people are going to really feel like they've lost something, while others are going to see that, there is something good to be had out of all of this. So I think there's a real sense of gain and loss here, don't you think? Or
There
at
is.
least maintaining and loss.
It's mixed. There's just going to be
It's
a lot of
mixed.
variance within the greater society. Some people will lose a lot. Some people will lose not so much. Some people may not lose anything. Some people may experience more heartache or more hardship. Some people may not experience much. Some people may experience the worse.
Yeah, I am not sure if I see anything here that indicates radical change in the economic system here.
Like the other one did,
Right.
yeah.
Excuse me.
Well, what is our time outlay on this? Approximately a year-ish?
Well, long term, so definitely a year or more, even,
Yeah.
long term implications. I would say a year because, yeah.
Well, remember what we said, though, and we think this is the reality. I know there was a big article in the Washington Post and other places. This is something we now have to accept just as much as we as a society accept common colds and things like that. This may be with us forever. We may never really move away from this, and
Well,
that's
and that's
frightening.
not, well, what the thing is it may get it like the common cold in that immunities will be built up over time. But these things can take years. And if they get a vaccine, it could help the process along tremendously. But then again, you have to convince everybody to take a vaccine, and people won't. So that's a given. So let's move on to politics, a scary area of politics. And I'm shuffling first again, Mr. O, because you did too, so I will. Let's see what we get for political relations and how things are going. There you go. You know what? I forgot to write down education.
Whoops.
The first card. So for politics, interesting, we have the Page of Wands. Is that heralding something new?
What's that?
The Page of Wands.
What's a message? It's news. There's nothing that screams unexpected news, radical news, but it does sort of speak to the idea that it's news that you want, news that you like, news that you feel good about.
I sense that it's news of moving forward in some ways in a more positive direction. I feel that there's a positivity and some enthusiasm behind the Ace of Rods. So to me, it's definitely sort of new ground, but and actually it's tenuous in that it's got a youthful exuberance about it. So I mean, you know, that's why I'm thinking it's something new. It's not the same old status quo. It's something new, but fledgling.
Yes, I think it's new. Is this one that maybe we want to pick a second card?
I think so. Let's do that. Do we want to shuffle a little bit to get
No,
one?
just grab one.
Okay.
Just do one
I'm
randomly.
going to let you pull one out. Wow.
Two of Cups. Well, I do think that, of course, it won't resonate with everybody. I don't think this is about what it is, but about how people will relate to it because it's emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, I'm thinking that this is the kind of thing that this message, this news, this new thing is the kind of thing that won't necessarily
Bring us together.
won't necessarily bring polarity.
Yeah. It seems like we're divided politically as much as ever when all of this is done.
It is possible, too, that maybe the message is about the polarity and or the possible solutions for it. It is possible that maybe the message will address the polarity.
Maybe, but I sense since we picked it second that it's just saying that there's going to be there's still going to be big divides in society during this crisis. So in other words, it seems like a little bit of business as usual, but with a twist. It's not the same, but yet people will treat it the same. Yeah.
All right.
Not happy about that. Was hoping for something better. So what about healthcare? How will this affect our healthcare system long term and also our access to healthcare? All the issues just surrounding healthcare. Let's see what we get here. I'm going to let you shuffle first this time. Sorry. I did, it's interesting. We've had 2 5s in this reading. The 5 of Wands was the first card, reversed, and then the
And
5
we've had
of
the Five
Cups
of
was
Cups.
upright. Yeah.
And
Fives are,
fives are energy.
Yeah,
so
they are.
This means strong forces of change or movement.
and that's in education and economy. Well, in the delivery of health care, It looks like partnerships are going to be forged. It looks like there's going to be a new partnership. Will this be partnership between the public and healthcare? Will this be the partnership between the government and healthcare? But it seems like there's going to be a system of delivery that's going to be different and very cooperative. What do you think, Mr. O?
I agree. It's a partnership. It's care, harmonious. It's about mutual respect and attraction. I sort of feel like we should pull another card too.
I
Then.
was just thinking that. You've read my mind. And I'm going to pull it this time. How bizarre. We got the Five of Wands upright, which is very interesting to me because to me,
It's a partnership of some really radical elements, or really not necessarily the kind you see in a partnership, right?
maybe. I
Competitive.
also think, like you were thinking before, maybe this is a partnership born out of conflict, and strife and difficulties. The Five of Wands isn't always, sometimes, I don't even look at the upright as positive or negative. I kind of look at it as just a card of it's competitive. There's energies that are competing. There's ideas that compete. So there's going to be a lot of ideas being thrown out there as to what to do. And I do feel some agreement will eventually be worked out, but not without some difficulty getting there.
Well, right now, a lot of healthcare is regulated through the government and through agencies. And what if some of that was dissolved or altered and that doctors became more free agents
Well,
as a way of delivering healthcare more directly and without all of the red tape?
Well, and the other thing is one could look at this as, this competition is taking losing my train of thought on this one. I just feel that there's something very positive that's going to be worked out that will benefit, I think, people and the healthcare system.
Yeah, I think it's going to work out too. It just looks like a lot of
It's not going to be easy.
jousting.
There's going to be jousting and difficulties ahead. I don't even know how they can catch their breath right now to even approach anything right now. But obviously, when all of this is done, the economy is suffering everywhere, and that healthcare institutions are suffering a lot of cost outlays due to taking this virus on. A lot of elective surgeries, etc., have been postponed, all of that.
So what's our next position?
Our next one is leisure and social activities. How are we going to function? We're used to going to sports events. We're used to going to big crowded theaters. And concerts. How are we going to function, in the next year with all of this? Seriously?
Some social distancing there, eh?
How does this happen? There is
Two
a
of
definite
Cups reversed.
message here that we're pulling this card.
Yes, a lot of this seems to act like there's
May wanna
a real
pull another one.
push-pull over questions regarding
dualities.
social distancing and or coming together.
And it's reversed again, which means there's
This is about
just
the
a
social
lot
distancing.
of conflict as to how we are going to reopen those types of activities. I think there's going to be a lot of dissent, and there's going to be maybe a lot of people going their own way on this.
It could be because it sounds like a lot of disharmony.
Do you want to draw another card?
Sure.
I'm going to let you pull it.
They're so unwieldy.
What? Well, it's humid. I think that's why. No, you drew two? We have to show them all. Come on. Sun reversed. What's the other?
Two of Wands.
So you have the Two of Wands upright and the Sun reversed. So there's a lot of depression and gloom and doom because people are having a hard time coming to terms with what they've lost, the way that they've done. They're used to the way things have been, and it's hard to let that go. I sense here, though, what?
This is like, when I saw that, I started thinking of that song, "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me."
Aw.
And like, this is what these people feel. It's like if they're not attuned to this, if they're not harmonizing to this, they're feeling like it's bad for them. They're left out. They don't
And
have.
we've got 2 twos.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
The sun is about real Leo kind of energies, and
Well-
Leo is about that enjoyment and all that kind of stuff, and that's what we're talking about, the leisure time. And so it's feeling like, no. And then with the Two of Wands, though, it's like, it will take time to invest in the proper systems to make all of this work. It will take
But
time
there
to
is
have that.
light. There is light
Yeah.
at the end of the tunnel here, It's
It's
just
about
a matter
planning
of
and
getting
investing
there.
in the
It's
right way to
planning
do
and
it.
investing in the future.
And the right way.
And I think that's the point too. We have to now think more future driven on where, on where things should go and what we should be doing and what the future is going to look like. And so now we're going to do social relations. And by this I mean, there's a lot of divides in society right now, between the mask wearers and the non-mask wearers, between races, between politics. So we're going to talk about social relations in the year ahead during the pandemic and see what that looks like overall.
This almost automatically sounds like it needs
You shuffle
more cards.
first and wait a minute. You shuffled first last time. I'm sorry.
Doesn't matter.
I don't even know anymore. So it must not matter. Shuffle. The moon reversed.
Well,
What do you
God,
think?
does that
there?
speak volumes, eh?
Well, it does.
I guess we're going to have a society where a lot of people, and maybe this is on both ends, will have feelings that they're being deceived, or they're trying to deceive others, or they feel other people are deceived. Just this whole mooniness is going to prevail with a lot of people.
Well, I feel, in a sense, it's more about the revealing that, maybe deceptions will be revealed. I feel that.
But it's spread everywhere. Everybody's going to feel like everybody else is revealing
Well,
the deceptions.
and you know what? Isn't this sort of tie into fake news a little bit too, in a way?
Interesting.
I think that, everybody is going to kind of believe their own truth. Maybe that's part of the problem. I don't know. But I'm feeling here that many people feel they are being deceived. We definitely need another card on this one, I think. Can you get one? Thank you. You got it. Is that the way you pulled it?
Yeah.
I think it was.
I
Okay.
just turned it over left to right.
Well. So
But see, you're opposite me,
Yeah.
so should it be the other way?
Too late now.
Okay. Well, it also is, too, that some of the social issues or relationships are around who's in control. Who do you want to be in control? With clearly so much polarity right now in our political discussion, and everybody feels that there's more choices. I mean, because there are people who are okay with the status quo, and then there are people who are totally unsatisfied just with the status quo.
Personally, I feel it's calling to the fact that, and this is just from what I'm seeing here, because the moon is about deceptions, and then we have the emperor. I feel like people feel that those in power are deceiving them. That's where the deceptions are coming from.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I don't know why, but I feel like we need one more. And this one is upright.
So maybe somewhere within all of this, somebody young, bold, enterprising, and trustworthy, somebody who can really bring a sense of trustworthiness back to our relations, will appear on the American stage somehow. I'm thinking it's a younger person. Knights are usually men are up to or around the age of 35-ish, you know. We don't have to get into the ageist matters. I
We
just
have a
don't
cat
think that
crying
this is.
in the background. No need to get alarmed.
I
She
don't
just
think
wants
this is.
attention.
This is not a statesman person who's been around in politics for decades. This is somebody newer. It could be a younger political, but definitely somebody that's probably under 50, 40s, maybe 30s.
Well,
They're
it's
not even necessarily
interesting.
a political, are they?
Well, I don't know. I'm wondering if it's some kind of watchdog. I'm wondering if it's somebody who actually will uncover the deception and speak the truth.
Somebody who is worthy of trust and who will show that the trust will
This is all
happen.
getting really deep. So,
Neo, Morpheus, Trinity, are you out there? We're in the Matrix. Help us. Which pill? Where's
so
the
I am not sure here what's going on, but I do feel one thing's for certain in the realm of social relations. It ain't going to be easy. There's going to be confrontational because there are people who are believing their own truths. But one thing that they all can rely on is they don't trust our leaders. I think that's a given.
These two, which are more or less personalities, frame the issue.
Yeah. I'm just going to write those down real quick. And what was that again? The moon. And the moon was reversed. The emperor was reversed. And the Knight of Wands was upright. Okay. So finally, we are on our last card. And our last card is involving interpersonal relationships. I mean, it can't be easy now. We can't we can't see our grandchildren if you're older. Relationships are strained because people are stuck in the same space together too long. Just people can't meet each other. We got to all wear masks now. So what is interpersonal relations between family, friends, and lovers going to look like? You shuffled?
I did.
I'm going to cut them for you. Okay. What do you got, Mr. O? It's just one. Upright?
The High Priestess.
Oh.
People in committed relationships, people in good relationships, primary relationships, not so primary relationships, they're all going to have to get a sense of their own inner wisdom and their own inner serenity. Because although we often see the High Priestess as a wise person, there's a serenity she carries from having that knowledge, because she doesn't have to bandy it about on everyone. She just knows it and she accepts it. And because of that, things work out.
Well, what's really funny about that, when I saw that card come up here, I thought to myself, we're all going to connect on a telepathic internal level now instead of external because, we got to hide. No, I'm just kidding. I feel that, this might connect us on more deeper levels, In some ways, we're going to connect more from the heart and soul than even on a more physical level. This is going to make us look within much more, too.
Can you cue up the Twilight Zone theme?
No.
Well, there are some people, I won't say their names, but some of them are on my personal Facebook. They're all talking about how all of these changes that are coming about faster and faster signal a paradigm shift. And the paradigm shift is about the awakening of mental powers that we don't have or that we used to have, or other powers, other realms coming to us that are bringing us energies and abilities that are part of manifestation in the Aquarian age. So maybe the High Priestess is a signal of that as we move into this, we are unleashing our potentials.
So do you think this merits another one?
Not necessarily. Do you?
I do.
Go ahead.
Just one, though. Well, we'll see. I can never say. It's like Lay's potato chips.
Oh, gosh.
Can we draw just one card? Oh, I shouldn't have left it with you. What did you get?
Another 2.
And it's reversed. And and I think that's an interesting card to have because things are going to be really topsy-turvy for a while as far as
2
our
of Pentacles.
interactions go.
Right.
Two of Pentacles reversed.
Represents a bit of struggle here.
On a physical level. Getting physical.
And so the thing is that maybe the High Priestess represents where our minds and hearts are at in the matter, how we're coming together, how we're viewing ourselves. But there's some physical work here. There could be all kinds of situations. There are people who are, I know of a few of them, people who are now separated from the one in their heart because of distance and the situation. This is really, depthful growth for a lot of relationships and people in various relationships.
Wow, so let's review here. We have some interesting, first off, I want to talk about a few of the intriguing parts of this reading in that we had the 5 of Wands twice, and we had 3 5s, and then we had the 2 of Cups twice, right? No, 3 times. Three times. Twice reversed. And one time we had the 2 with the 5. I just think it's interesting because the 2s are this duality, these dualities at play. And the 5 is like kind of energy, the flow of energy. It can be aggressive at times. It can be, swift. So what do you think?
About those combinations of cards?
Yeah.
Well, exactly the same thing. I mean, the 2s represent the duality, so I think that there's just so many choices even in those matters that each one of those things where the 2 shows up represents that they're, and it's because maybe it's the overall epitome of our national polarity.
So, sometimes when we read tarot, they talk about what's missing. And we did not get the 2 of Swords. We had the 2 of Wands, the 2 of Cups, and the 2 of Pentacles. We did not get the 2 of Swords, which is interesting because that's kind of a balance and, a true sort of card. Mm-hmm. And I think emotions are dominating. Because if you look here, we have the 5 of Cups, the 2 of Cups 3 times. I think that's mostly dominant here. We also have Wands. Wand and Cups energies.
Well, the 2 of Swords represents blind faith in a way, too. The faith of science, trusting in science in a way. And that's not here because there's too many people who have a strong emotional component here.
So let's review, Mr. O. For education, we had the 5 of Wands reversed, which I really feel is the fact that I think that new opportunities are going to develop and people are going to come together. They're going to come together and work together on solutions.
Well, Wands are enterprise, and that's also known as the marketplace of ideas or whatever. Mm-hmm. And the 5 of Wands brings a lot of energy and diversity to that equation as far as education goes, that we may have to really look at a lot of other different techniques or ideas about education.
In employment workplaces, it looks like it's going to be a brave new world. And we can see the starts of that happening now in a way because some companies are talking about, having their employees work from home permanently. It's like from now on, you're working from home. I just heard this today, as a matter of fact. So I think the workplaces and how they do business is going to shift and change.
In context, I think what the Fool represents here is reinvention.
Out of the box.
Yeah, and it's like moving more from an instinctual level to like just understanding that certain things seem right and moving that direction.
And the economy, the Five of Cups upright, is kind of like it looks like there's going to be winners and losers. There's clearly winners and losers in this situation.
It really represents the shifting sands, or in this case, the goblets that are shaking and spilling water. That there's just a bit of high risk involved in all of this over this next period of time, and people are just going to have to really hang in there. Not all losses will be complete.
So in politics, we had the Page of Wands and the Two of Cups reversed. And I feel that the Page of Wands is talking about something new, something
A
new.
message or new coming to us,
Right, some
information.
new, right. And the Two of Cups reversed is it looks as though the divide continues. The people are not going to be happy with this new situation, this new thing coming. And there's going to be dissension and discord just like there is now.
And so then in a sense, if you want to put in the context of politics and then that messenger, this is saying like it's the status quo, is like there's meet the new boss, there's no options for movement. Basically, we're back with just dealing with that.
Well, I feel that, things may change, players may change in the political arena, but the problem is the divisiveness that's underlying all of that is not changing.
Totally.
Yeah. Health delivery of health care, we ended up with the Two of Cups upright this time and the Five of Wands, which means to me, when the Five of Wands is upright, there's competition, but some of that can be healthy because it's like like you even call it sometimes a marketplace of ideas. People are throwing ideas out there, people are trying to come up with solutions, and it seems as though out of the whole thing, and there might be disagreements in the mix, people feeling, holding on to things that they believe should stay the same, maybe others who want to go in a different direction. In the end, partnerships are going to form and people are going to merge together their energies and they're going to come up with some solutions.
The partnerships will also be a little or a bit more youth oriented and will have more energy. Partnerships will be based on new ideas. So if it's not young people, it's just basically new young ideas, because really it is about perhaps a radical remaking.
Yeah. And finally, well, not finally, we got more. We've got leisure and social activities. We had the Two of Cups reversed, and then we drew the Sun reversed and the Two of Wands upright. And so the Two of Cups reversed kind of indicates that there's going to be a lot of issues. I think people, it's again that duality. You're going to have people that are going to try to just go out and do things the way they've always been, and you're going to have others who are going to say, no, I'm not interested in that anymore. And there's a lot of, with the Sun reversed, in my opinion, I know you might digress a little bit, but in my opinion, there's like a lot of pessimism and, maybe some delays with some of these activities getting off the ground. I don't think I said that the first time, but I think I see that now. The Two of Wands upright, though, shows that, with planning and care, the sun will come up again. The sun will rise.
Well, I see that with the first two cards, that I think that with the Two of Cups and the Sun both reversed, I think people, as they're first going through this and going through most of it, it's sadness and they don't want to accept it, and they accept it sadly in a way. They accept it with a sense of depression, and this really changes a lot of things for people, because there have been decades now where people have not known anything like this at all, and this is something that even older people and younger people are going through for the first time, because the last time something like this happened was 100 years ago.
Right.
But the Two of Wands does seem to indicate And so these are the relationships I'm talking about, how we're dealing with them on our personal, emotional relationships. We're really sad, we're really depressed about it. But the Two of Wands, I think, is telling us that a part of us will realize, or some of us will realize, that it's an investment in the future, and it's a matter of waiting. The ships will come in. It's just going to take a little bit longer this time.
Yeah. So the next one was social relations, and we had the Emperor reversed, the Moon reversed, and the Knight of Wands upright. Well, so, and when we said social relations, it's about the divides in America. And I think what really is happening here is there's a lot of misinformation or deception going on. That's the moon reversed. And a lot of it stems from the people who lead us or guide us. And, the Knight of Wands upright looks as though it might be somebody coming in to uncover some of these deceptions and lies.
Right, I can't really add too much more to that. The moon reversed definitely speaks to this idea of mysteries being solved, things coming into the open. And the only thing I can say is, and it's a little pithy, but this is a time of finding out that the emperor has no clothes. And that speaks directly to the idea of deceptions and mysteries.
Right. And so this could be leaders. If you look at it in other ways too, it might be talking about other systems. We have we have the situations right now, with blacks in this country and law enforcement and the divide there. And so, the people that we look to guide us, this and to ensure our safety and stuff, these are the people that are getting some of this backlash, I feel, and it might be well deserved. In some ways, some things are being uncovered that need to be uncovered.
So the Knight of Wands represents the possibility of a younger person or a younger focus or energy that promotes a lot of goodwill and trust and fairness. And
or
that,
demands for
right.
fairness.
And I think that this person represents, if it is a person, it represents a leader, but it could also represent
Maybe
the
it's a movement.
It's
exactly.
the movement.
I was just thinking that, Mr. O. So there you go. It's a movement for maybe justice, or just let's stop this and let's move on and get better. So finally, interpersonal relations. What about our relations with each other? One-on-one, mano on mano, our family, our friends, our lovers. We have the High Priestess upright and the Two of Pentacles reversed. And things are going to be topsy-turvy. It's not going to be easy finding a balance and a healthy balance, because so many people are at risk of catching this virus still. Until a vaccine at least is developed that can help people who are at risk, we're always going to be kind of treating things as kid gloves for a while, I think. And the High Priestess upright is indicating that we are going to connect with people on deeper heart and soul levels.
Right. I think it's about wisdom and serenity. I think it's about having knowledge, accepting knowledge, feeling that within our closer circles and relationships. And that knowledge gives us peace. That knowledge gives us serenity. And we're going to really need that, because with the Two of Pentacles reversed there, what that is indicating too is that we will have in our environment, in our personal relationships, those who are having a much harder time dealing with that. And so we, as the High Priestess of serenity, calmness, good knowledge and wisdom, we're going to have to work harder to help those that are suffering that negative Two of Pentacles there.
So basically, I think, we didn't touch on the issues today of will there be a vaccine? Will this virus just go away and stuff like that? Because truly, through the scientific perspective, it looks like the virus is going to be around, like other coronaviruses have not been eradicated. So we have to figure out how we're going to live and deal with it. And maybe at some point in the future, we will touch on the vaccine issue. But I think for now, this is what we have.
We will have to live with it because the rest of the world will have to live with it. Our country that we focused on for this reading is really only 10 to 15% of the world's population. So this is a big message for us, but it's also a big message for the entire world. The
Yeah.
world has to
Change.
figure out how to change and work together on this.
And so I feel too that, we wanted to tackle some issues that many Americans are concerned about and worried about. What is life going to be like now? What is the new normal going to be? Well, it remains to be seen, but this is the tarot's perspective for the moment, the snapshot in time. So thank you for joining us today, and join us on our live streams twice weekly. Our schedule is Sundays from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and Thursdays from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
So this has been Oberon and Banshee with a special edition, part 3 of our coronavirus predictions. But remember, if you need real accurate information, you need to go see the CDC,
or your nation's health service. Take care, everybody. Hang in there. We'll get through this together.